Get away from the counter and leave the establishment.
Whoa, I'm just here for a food pickup.
We got a call about a suspicious person harassing staff. You match the description.
Harassing? I'm a delivery driver for a fancy client. I'm on the app.
I don't care about the app. You're trespassing and you're coming with me.
I'm complying, but I'm just a worker.
You are wrong.
Officer Ryan Marshall had been with the Phoenix Police Department for 15 years. In those 15 years, he'd accumulated 29 formal complaints. 24 of them involved black people he'd accused of trespassing, loitering, or not belonging in upscale restaurants, stores, and businesses. A black customer waiting for takeout at a steakhouse was detained for suspicious behavior. A black shopper browsing at a boutique was searched for shoplifting despite having done nothing. A black man sitting in a coffee shop working on his laptop was arrested for refusing to leave, even though he'd purchased coffee. A black woman waiting for friends at a restaurant bar was questioned for solicitation. A black delivery driver picking up food was handcuffed for trespassing in a commercial establishment. Every complaint ended the same way. Business owners confirming the person was a legitimate customer or worker, internal review that cleared Marshall, diversity training he attended but ignored, written warnings that accumulated but meant nothing, union protection that blocked any real consequences. One Friday evening in Phoenix, his 15-year pattern of assuming black people didn't belong in upscale establishments finally confronted someone who was simply trying to earn a living delivering food, had clear documentation of his work, platform support to verify his employment, and witnesses who saw the entire unjustified arrest. That confrontation would end Marshall's career, cost the city $5.1 million, and expose a department that had ignored 29 complaints over 15 years. Jamal Robinson, a 31-year-old Uber Eats driver and aspiring chef, was standing inside a high-end Italian restaurant in Scottsdale waiting for a delivery order when an officer approached him aggressively. His Uber Eats app was open on his phone, showing the active pickup. His insulated delivery bag was in his hand. His driver ID was visible on his phone screen. No crime, no trespassing, no loitering, just a delivery driver doing his job. But Officer Marshall saw him through a lens so warped by racial assumptions that he couldn't process a black man in an upscale restaurant as someone legitimately there to pick up food. Before we continue, where are you watching from? Hit that subscribe button. These stories need to be told. Phoenix, Arizona. Scottsdale, one of the wealthiest areas in the state known for luxury resorts, upscale shopping, fine dining, and affluent residents. The restaurant, Bella Vita, was an exclusive Italian establishment where entrees started at $45 and the wine list featured bottles over $500. The clientele was predominantly wealthy and white. It was 7:45 p.m. on a Friday evening, prime dinner rush. The restaurant was packed with well-dressed diners. Waiters moved efficiently between tables. The smell of fresh pasta and expensive wine filled the air. Jamal Robinson had been an Uber Eats driver for 2 years while attending culinary school at Le Cordon Bleu. He'd graduated from Arizona State University with a degree in hospitality management, then decided to pursue his passion for cooking through formal culinary training. He worked delivery shifts to pay his tuition and living expenses while studying to become a chef. He maintained a 4.95-star rating with over 3,000 deliveries. He was professional, courteous, and reliable. He dreamed of opening his own restaurant someday, so he paid attention to how high-end establishments operated. He'd picked up from Bella Vita a dozen times before without incident. He knew the pickup procedure. Enter through the front, check in with the host stand, wait in the designated area near the bar until the order was ready. That evening, Jamal had accepted an Uber Eats order from Bella Vita, a $127 order, premium Italian food, good tip potential. He'd driven to the restaurant, parked in the lot, grabbed his insulated delivery bag, and entered through the front door. He approached the host stand and spoke to the hostess. "Hi, I'm here for an Uber Eats pickup. Order for Mitchell." The hostess smiled and checked her system. "Yes, we have that. It'll be about 5 more minutes. You can wait over there." She gestured to a small waiting area near the bar where other delivery drivers occasionally stood. Jamal thanked her and moved to the waiting area, his phone in hand showing the active order, his delivery bag visible, standing exactly where the restaurant told him to wait. Do you think officers should verify situations before arresting workers? Drop your answer below. Officer Ryan Marshall had those 29 complaints over 15 years. 24 involved black people in upscale commercial establishments, a pattern so undeniable that multiple supervisors had recommended his termination, but the police union had successfully fought every disciplinary action. His personnel file was thick with complaints from business owners, customers, and workers he'd harassed. Internal affairs had flagged him as high risk. Community groups had protested his presence in their neighborhoods, yet he remained on patrol because the system protected him. That evening, Marshall was having dinner at Bella Vita on his break. He was a regular customer at the expensive restaurant, often dining there in uniform. He was seated at a table near the bar when he noticed Jamal standing in the waiting area. Marshall saw a black man in casual clothes, jeans, a t-shirt, sneakers, standing in an upscale restaurant where most customers wore business, casual, or dressy attire. Despite the delivery bag in Jamal's hand and the phone clearly showing a delivery app, Marshall assumed Jamal didn't belong. Marshall stood up from his table, left his half-eaten $52 pasta dish, and approached Jamal with aggressive body language. "You need to leave this establishment right now." Jamal looked up, confused. "Excuse me? I'm picking up a delivery order. I'm an Uber Eats driver." "I don't believe you. You're loitering." Jamal held up his phone, showing the Uber Eats app with the active order. "Loitering? I'm waiting for the restaurant to finish the order. See? Right here. Order for Mitchell, $127. Bella Vita. The hostess told me to wait here." "Show me proof you work here." "I don't work here. I'm delivering food for Uber Eats. I'm an independent contractor. The restaurant is preparing the order right now." Marshall stepped closer, his hand moving toward his weapon. "This is a high-class establishment. I don't think you belong here." Jamal felt his frustration rising, but kept his voice calm. "Officer, I've picked up from this restaurant a dozen times. I'm a delivery driver. The hostess knows I'm here. You can ask her." "I'm asking you to leave. Final warning." "Leave? I'm waiting for an order. The customer is waiting for their food." The hostess noticed the confrontation and hurried over. "Officer Marshall, is there a problem? He's with Uber Eats. We have his order in the kitchen right now." Marshall ignored her. "Sir, you're under arrest for trespassing and disorderly conduct." "Disorderly conduct? I'm standing here quietly waiting for food. Should workers be protected from false arrests while doing their jobs? Let me know what you think." The hostess was alarmed now. "Officer, please, he's not trespassing. He's here for a pickup. We called him in. The customer ordered through Uber Eats." Marshall grabbed Jamal's arm. "Put the phone down and put your hands behind your back." Jamal pulled out his second phone and started recording. "I'm documenting this. I'm Jamal Robinson, Uber Eats driver. Officer Marshall is arresting me inside Bella Vita restaurant while I'm picking up a legitimate delivery order. I have an active order on my app. The hostess confirmed I'm supposed to be here. This is an unlawful arrest." Other diners were watching now, some pulling out phones to record. The restaurant manager rushed over from the back. "Officer Marshall, what are you doing? He's picking up an order. We have delivery drivers here all the time." Marshall handcuffed Jamal, the metal tight on his wrists. "He's trespassing in your establishment." The manager was bewildered. "He's not trespassing. We invited him here. The customer ordered food. This is how delivery services work." Jamal didn't resist, but spoke clearly for the multiple phones recording. "I am not resisting. I am Jamal Robinson, Uber Eats driver for 2 years, over 3,000 deliveries. I'm a student at Le Cordon Bleu Culinary School. I'm picking up a legitimate order. The restaurant staff confirmed this. Officer Marshall is arresting me for being black in an upscale restaurant." Marshall walked Jamal toward the door, past stunned diners who'd stopped eating to watch. The hostess was on the phone with the restaurant owner. The manager was following them, protesting. "This is wrong. He's our delivery driver. We need him to deliver this food." Marshall placed Jamal in the back of his patrol car parked outside. Through the window, Jamal could see the restaurant manager standing on the sidewalk, shaking his head in disbelief. His delivery bag was still inside. The customer's food was getting cold. His Uber Eats app was showing the order as delayed. His perfect rating was about to take a hit through no fault of his own. The drive to the station took 20 minutes. Jamal spent it thinking about his culinary school tuition he'd just paid, the restaurant he dreamed of opening, the lawsuit he'd definitely be filing. They arrived at Phoenix PD's Scottsdale Division headquarters. Marshall walked him inside, still handcuffed, past a desk sergeant who looked up with concern. "Marshall, what's the situation?" "Trespassing arrest from Bella Vita. Subject was loitering in the restaurant." The sergeant frowned. "Bella Vita? Did the restaurant want him arrested?" He was causing a disturbance. Jamal spoke up. "Sergeant, I'm Jamal Robinson, Uber Eats driver. I was picking up a delivery order from Bella Vita when Officer Marshall arrested me. I had an active order on my app. The hostess told me to wait. The manager confirmed I was supposed to be there. I have over 3,000 deliveries with a 4.95-star rating. I'm a culinary student at Le Cordon Bleu. This arrest is completely unjustified." The sergeant's phone rang. It was the owner of Bella Vita, calling to say they absolutely did not want the delivery driver arrested and demanding his immediate release. While the sergeant was on that call, another call came in from Uber Eats corporate security, alerted by Jamal's emergency button in the app, also demanding information about why their driver had been arrested while picking up a legitimate order. The sergeant hung up and stared at Marshall. The restaurant owner says he was there for a pickup. Uber Eats confirms an active order. Marshall, did you verify any of this before arresting him? He looked suspicious. Picking up food with a delivery bag and an app showing the order. Within minutes, a shift commander arrived, Lieutenant James Chen, a 16-year veteran who'd been documenting Marshall's pattern of complaints. He reviewed the situation, spoke with the restaurant owner, confirmed the Uber Eats order, watched video from the restaurant's security cameras showing Jamal standing quietly in the waiting area. He approached Jamal, still handcuffed. "Mr. Robinson, this arrest was completely unjustified. You're being released immediately with our apologies." He turned to Marshall with controlled anger. "You arrested a delivery driver for picking up an order. The restaurant confirmed he was supposed to be there. Uber Eats confirmed the order. You had zero probable cause. Badge and weapon. You're suspended pending termination." Marshall protested. "Lieutenant, he didn't belong in that restaurant." "He belonged there more than you did. He was working. You were eating dinner on duty. You've generated 29 complaints in 15 years, 24 involving black people in businesses. You arrested a culinary student for doing his job. You're done. Badge, weapon, now." By the next morning, the story had gone viral. Videos from diners at Bella Vita showed the entire arrest. Uber Eats issued a statement condemning the incident and supporting Jamal. Le Cordon Bleu's president released a message backing their student. The restaurant owner gave interviews calling the arrest absurd and racist. Civil rights organizations demanded action. Jamal filed a comprehensive lawsuit 6 months later against Officer Ryan Marshall, his supervisors who'd ignored 29 complaints, and Phoenix PD. The allegations were extensive: false arrest without probable cause, false imprisonment, violation of Fourth Amendment rights, racial profiling and discrimination, interference with his employment and livelihood, intentional infliction of emotional distress, damage to his professional reputation as a driver and aspiring chef, deliberate indifference to Marshall's pattern of violations. The complaint included Marshall's complete record: 29 complaints over 15 years, 24 involving black people in upscale establishments, supervisor recommendations for termination blocked by the union. Phoenix's city attorneys found no defensible position. Restaurant security footage showed Jamal standing quietly where he was told to wait. The Uber Eats order was documented and verified. The restaurant staff all confirmed he was legitimately there. Multiple witnesses recorded the arrest. Marshall had zero probable cause. The pattern of complaints showed deliberate indifference. The city settled 20 months later. $5.1 million paid to Jamal Robinson, one of the largest settlements in Arizona history, for a false arrest of a gig economy worker. Officer Ryan Marshall was terminated 9 weeks after the incident. The termination letter was damning. Officer Marshall arrested an Uber Eats driver who was picking up a legitimate delivery order from a restaurant that confirmed his presence. He had no probable cause. He ignored restaurant staff, delivery platform verification, and video evidence. His pattern of similar conduct over 15 years demonstrates an inability to serve without racial bias. Employment terminated immediately. Marshall's name entered the National Decertification Index. His 15-year career ended. Jamal testified before the Phoenix City Council, bringing both his personal experience and his professional aspirations to his testimony. "I'm a culinary student. I work delivery to pay for school while I learn to become a chef. I dream of opening my own restaurant someday. I was picking up food from Bella Vita, a restaurant I delivered from a dozen times before. I was standing exactly where the hostess told me to wait, and Officer Marshall arrested me because he couldn't imagine a black man in an expensive restaurant was there. Legitimately, He paused, his voice emotional but controlled. 29 complaints in 15 years, 24 involving black people in businesses. That's not policing, that's enforcing segregation in commercial spaces. Your department documented it, supervisors recommended termination, and he kept working until he arrested someone the system couldn't ignore. He continued, $5.1 million is what taxpayers paid, but money doesn't undo being handcuffed in front of diners while I was working. It doesn't restore the customer's cold food or my damaged rating. And it doesn't erase the humiliation of being treated like a criminal for picking up pasta. Jamal used part of his settlement to pay for the rest of culinary school debt-free and to start a small catering business. He eventually opened his own restaurant, naming it Justice, and hung a framed photo of his delivery bag in the entrance with a plaque reading, "From delivery driver to restaurant owner, despite the obstacles." Phoenix PD implemented comprehensive reforms: mandatory verification before arresting anyone in a commercial establishment, automatic investigation at 3 complaints, body camera review for all business-related encounters, partnership with delivery platforms to verify workers, protection for gig economy employees, prohibition on arrests without business owner complaint. Why do departments wait for 29 complaints instead of 3? Comment your thoughts. This wasn't about one Friday evening at Bella Vita. This was about tolerating Ryan Marshall for 15 years, despite 29 complaints showing he couldn't accept black people in upscale spaces. Marshall's career is over. The city paid $5.1 million, but that came after 15 years of warnings. Comment if workers should have federal protection from false arrests while working. And if these stories matter, hit that subscribe button. We're exposing systems that ignore patterns. This isn't about one officer or one driver. It's about protecting people trying to earn a living and demanding accountability for those who abuse their authority.